Hey everyone, J2XAM here, and today I'm going to take you behind the scenes of a J2XAM mashup. Now the one I'm going to show you today is number 87, When I Hear Four Voices, which features the instrumental When I See You by Maestro Artie, with the vocals Free Fallin' by Zoe Badwi, Take Me Home by Cash Cash featuring BB Rexa, Riot by Nicholas featuring Angelica V, and Good Thing by Tritonal featuring Laurel. So let's dive right in. Let's open up Audacity, which is what I use. Alright, so here's my project. Now what you're seeing here is the Audacity window. I have my instrumental here, and I always have it on the top so that I have a clear reference as to where I'm going to put my vocals. And for this one, I don't do it for everyone, but for this mashup I have a metronome just so I get the timing right for all the vocal tracks. So let's play it. I'm going to stop and explain what I've been doing with the vocals, and especially the effects I've been using. So here we go. You're hearing the metronome in this, but you would not be hearing that in the final project. So what you just heard there was something that I call the high-low, and I've done similar things before, and that is when either a vocal starts in its normal frequency and then transitions to the low pass and then the high pass. But this one's the reverse, and that started with the high pass filter, gradually transitioning into the low pass, and then gradually transitioning back to normal. Now let's continue. Again, when I export this, you will not hear the metronome. I just have that there for reference. So there's a reason why I keep the metronome down there, and that is when I want to do an effect like this. I want to have some sort of reverb. In this case, it's going to be repeating as it fades out, and it's going to actually transition into the low pass before it fades out. This is just a continuation of that. And you're going to see I cut these 2 points for reference, and these are directly linked to the metronome, as you can see here. and the same with this point over here. It's also directly linked. And I measured that out, and when I copied and pasted, it created this. And then I used the fade out. When I'm looking at the effects over here, I've been using the fade out, fade in for this, and then fade out again. I used the low pass for this one, and earlier on when I started at the high pass, I used a high pass filter. So let's continue on, and we are going to hear some more vocal tracks. Let's go.
I'm falling to pieces, but I need this, yeah, I need this. You're my fault, my weakness. When did you turn so cold?
I gotta say one thing about this mashup, and that is none of the vocal tracks are in their original keys. So what I did, especially with this one, and that's just a portion of it because I made a small cut there too, but that's unimportant right now. And what I did there is I went to effect, I changed the pitch, and I think I went down. One thing I do want to say is when I changed the pitch for an entire track, I turned this off, or else it kind of distorts the quality. It has some sort of effect that just doesn't sound good at all. It doesn't sound as natural like that. So I turn this off when I'm changing the pitch for the entire vocal track, and I only use this for when I'm making a small pitch change in the vocal, which you will see in just a moment. I might need to export the stems and then put it into GarageBand just to normalize the whole thing. I'll think about that.
I'm falling to pieces, but I still stay, 'cause you're the only thing I know. So won't you take me home?
Here it comes. So what you saw there was a slight pitch change. That's not how it sounds originally. And that's when I would use the high quality stretching. Because otherwise it kind of alters the duration just a slight bit, but even a slight bit is way too much. So this is actually exactly what I did. I'm not sure if these metrics are correct, but I used the high quality stretching. I shifted it down one semitone, and there we go. So let's continue. I did the same thing over there too. Oh, a new vocal coming up. Again, I shifted this down one semitone, but I did not turn on the high quality stretching for this one. Here's another vocal track, and there's something interesting about this one is in an earlier version of this I actually had the vocals of Tuvlo in Alesso's Heroes We Could Be. However, all of these vocals were shifted down and that was shifted up one. It just didn't sound right, so I replaced it with Good Thing by Tritonal. It sounds so much better too. So what you notice over there, there's a slight fade in, Otherwise, it sounds like it came out of nowhere. And you also notice that I also adjusted the pitch for the vocal track over here too, but I didn't do it all the way, because if I solo this track, you'll hear what I did. Even though it's not audible on the final project, it sounds like this.
Maybe it's a good thing too.
And you also hear how there's a slight distortion when I do the high quality stretching. Even though it retains the length, it has a slight audio distortion, which you don't notice when I only do it to fragments that are less than a second long or so. I'm not going to demonstrate what it would sound like if I didn't do the high quality stretching. Or actually, I'll do that right now and then I'll just undo it. If I wanted to change the pitch, I'm going to keep it at actually 0 for now, but I turn off the high quality stretching. Or actually, I'll shift it 1 tone up to get it back where it was before. But notice how I have the high quality stretching off? This is what happens, and that's what we do not want, because that changes the placement of the rest of the vocals, and it does not work when it comes to timing everything right. So I'm going to undo that, make sure it's right. I also wanted to keep this the way it was, because if I didn't do that, it would just sound out of key. Even though you'll probably not hear it in the final product. So I'm going to continue. Let's hear what we have left. We're returning to vocal number 1. And there's the effect from last time too. Remember that? Again, I use that same reverb effect where I use the metronome for that. I think I might have copied this over, but at the same time I linked it to the metronome, made sure it was pinpoint accurate, and there we go. So let's finish this up. And there's one more thing that you'll hear in just a moment. So what I did there is I went into effects, I chose the AU bandpass option. I chose the AU bandpass option, and I put that in, and then I normalized it to get the volume that I have right now. And I think there was one slight incision that I made just because the vocals were slightly uneven. You'll see that over here, and then I made sure that it sounded right. This took several tries to get right. And let's finish it up. Remember, in the end, there's going to be no metronome. And there you have it. This is number 87 behind the scenes, and at the time of this recording, I did not release the track yet. And once I do that, I will remove the metronome track entirely, because if I don't remove it, if I just mute it, the track will keep going on and on for the next, 25 or so minutes, or however long this is. So I'm going to get rid of this entirely, and then I'm going to export it. And you know what I might actually export the export multiple, which exports all the stems. I'm going to run it into GarageBand, and then I'll probably export it from there with it normalizing. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching, and this is J2XAM. Feel free to like, subscribe, ring the bell for new releases, and peace.